Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Slay to Success talk show. My name is Rochelle Slay Queen Hemingway, your CEO and founder of Slay to Success. I am a professional brand expert, personal brand expert, if you will, keynote speaker, author of several books, as you all know, if you've been here in tune to the show, and a United States Air Force veteran. And tonight, y'all, we have another special guest that I know that we're going to find more information and be inspired even more based on what our conversations have been every Sunday here on the Slay to Success show at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So what does the word slay mean? Okay, because it's everywhere. Slay means to kill it, to dominate it, and to nail it, to be on point, to impress greatly, and to dream big and work hard until you own it. It is also an acronym. It stands for life and leadership philosophies that really resonate with me the most, that I like to share when I'm sharing out why I do what I do. S is stay ready to be ready. L, lead out loud. A sense of community. And Y, you are built to last. As you know, I also advise and empower women, professionals, and organizations to achieve their success and working with them, focusing on ABCDs. That's right, appearance, behaviors, communication skills, and digital presence. So tonight, y'all, I have a great guest. If you come into the show, please make sure that you comment, put it into the comments so we can acknowledge, because you can have a million other places to go to, and you decided that tonight you are going to listen in onto this SLAYMAZING conversation that we're going to have. So I want to acknowledge you for being here. So as you come on in, make sure that you put in where you're streaming in from and your name, so that way we can see you. All right. And we will have this conversation and you can be just a part of it. So the reason and purpose of the Slay to Success show, y'all, is to bring in men and women who are living life on their own terms, and they're making a positive impact using the Slay philosophies. Okay, so that's who I bring onto the show. And I have an amazing guest. So let me just share with you all who she is. Her name is, we're going to affectionately call her KK. Okay, she is the executive director of Rescue One Youth Club, where she leads the initiatives to provide coaching, mentoring, and educational support to underserved youths and schools in our community. With over 10 years of experience as an entrepreneur, KK is passionate about creating opportunities for young people to realize, maximize, and monetize their full potential. She holds a BA degree in English languages. Her passion for health and well-being led her to pursue further education and knowledge. She has training in the Institute for Integrative Nutritional Health in New York as a certified coach, and she has enhanced her belief that your space or environment should sensitize your need for self-care and self-realization. She attended training and development programs in the housekeeping and hospitality industry, including the Dubai Hotel Expo show in Dubai, and later earned her certificate in human resource from George Mason University in the U.S. In addition to her years of experience and strong passion of working with the youth, she is studying for a youth coach and mentorship certification. Her passion is to encourage younger generation, which led her to create an after-school program called Tidy Neat Cool, supporting parents and teenagers to organize and cultivate the habit of maintaining a healthy, tidy, and structured immediate space for their well-being, and also a talk show, I Matter, giving voice to the voiceless youth, an interactive and engaging platform. Now, she has dedicated her career to advocating for underrepresented schools, students, and teachers that are faced with the challenges that have a negative impact on the quality of education. She has worked on many projects, including her current project, which is Back to School Supply Drive. The purpose is to support and donate school supplies to some specific schools that are in dire need of the items. Y'all, put your hands together. Please welcome my special guest tonight, KK.
Hi, Rochelle. How are you?
I'm good. I am so happy you are here. This conversation we're going to have is so needed, especially now that kids are going back to school. I have our son, he's going back to school on the 27th. Okay. And he had a long summer and it's time for him to get on back.
I
But
know.
so I'm just like, we're going to have a good conversation. And if you are here, y'all, please make sure that you are sharing your name and where you're streaming in from so we can give you a shout out for being here, and just, allowing us to uh, have a conversation together because this is probably going to be really, I just already feel it. So KK and I met at the Businesswomen's Network of Howard County, and we were leaving and we started this conversation. We hadn't talked when we were in there, but we certainly did when we were leaving. And so,
I literally stopped you in your way.
yeah, you did. It was good. It was like, okay, let's just have a conversation. And it was so good to hear what you're doing and what your passion is and how you're serving our community. So just tell the audience a little bit about yourself, what you're doing, how you're doing it, so they can get to know you a little better.
Thank you so much, Rochelle, for having me on your show. And honestly speaking, you're doing such a great job. I love your platform. You're just encouraging we women in business, to
Yes,
showcase ourselves. And that gives us that confidence and boldness to actually go there and actualize our dreams. So thank you. Thank
you're
you.
welcome.
Yes,
Absolutely. You're
yes,
welcome.
yes, yes. Okay, so like you all know, I'm Kechi Anumihe, and I'm the executive program director for Rescue One Youth Club. I'm a mother of four, you know,
Wow.
all under the age of 20. And so, a little story about myself and my program and the children that I have. Being a mother can be challenging, especially if you're in the business of providing service, out there to people. And so, how did this all come about? Rescue One Youth Club. Hmm. We are trained in a different way as we're growing up. And so, this disposition of children are completely different. Their upbringing, it's so challenging that you, as a parent, you need to step back a little bit and actually, find a way to look into each child and know what works for each child.
Yeah.
And so, I recently met a young man who had dropped out of school, and I literally was so amazed at the potential he had, and he was working at Papa John's at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And listening to him, I was really encouraged. Like, you can do better. I'm not saying Papa John's is, it's not a good job. Okay, it is, but for the abilities and the opportunities he had, I knew he could do, a lot more to actualize his own dreams. And he wanted to be an educator, right?
Okay.
Yeah, he wanted to be an educator. And I'm like, okay, so what are the steps? He said, oh, he was in school, but he dropped out. I said, so what are the challenges? Why can't you go back? And he talked about the situation in their home, talked about the mom being the breadwinner of the home. And, she had like three jobs and she needed to support her. He's the first child, amongst, I think, five other kids, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so I said, so what do you want to achieve? What are you looking to achieve? What are your prospects? Where do you want to go from here? And he said he would like to go back to school because he loves to tutor. He loves to teach children. I said, so what do you do? What else are you doing? He says he's actually tutoring a child in math. I said,
Okay.
I said, there you go. So that means you actually need that qualification. I think you need to think about going back to school. I said, would you like to go back to school? I said, yes. And so there we go. He agreed to that and we made a date. I kept encouraging him. He was giving me updates. So after a while, he like kind of got discouraged and like step. I said, oh, I'm not sure I really want to do this, but I kept encouraging him. And finally, we decided, to go over to the school. And we made it to the school right there and then. He was approved, registered, and he had credits
Okay.
left. So here we go. Now he's going back in this fall, back to school after 4 years.
Mm.
And I'm like, these children need some form of direction and guidance. And
Yeah.
that's what led me to set up this program called TidyMe.cool. Now, TidyMe.cool is an after school program where we mentor and coach students ages 6 to 17, young adults, and persons with disabilities. And what do we coach them with? We coach them with the basic life skills, everything that is not being taught in the school, from financial literacy, how to save, how to budget, how to keep your space tidy, which helps them to focus. Because there was another student that I met. I also run a cleaning company, and so we went out to I cleaned this home and realized that, this student is well above 18, going into college, couldn't keep his space clean. And mom was literally doing everything, doing his
Mhm.
laundry, and I'm like, I had to sit my client. I said, I'm not like trying to interfere, in your business, but I don't think you're helping him because he's going to college. How is he going to be in the space with other students in that room? You don't want a situation where he's named, right? She said, no. I
Mhm.
said, okay, here's what we're going to do. Well, I'm going to give him the opportunity to see and learn what we do. And, he literally did a 360 degrees change. He appreciated what we were doing at the home. And so from then onwards, he kept his space clean, kept his bathroom clean, so I had a conversation with him. I said, oh, so what changed? He said he noticed that after all the cleaning, once he sets a goal or sets a task for himself, he finds out that he's able to focus, he's more organized. He's able to go out there, exercise, do more things. He doesn't procrastinate, so that
Mm.
was very impressive. So I sat back to draw up that curriculum. I said, you know what, it's time to coach this case because it was obvious that he didn't know what to do. And mom was too busy to coach him.
Yeah.
So as a parent, we're always busy. I'm always busy as well. And I realized the same thing for myself. I said, my children also need to learn these steps and strategies to keep their space clean. Time, how to, manage their time. When they set a goal, how do they accomplish that task? And so that's why we set up TidyMe.cool with the different programs. Like I said, we also have mindfulness amongst the program. And also I also realized that my youngest son had challenges with time.
Yeah.
I literally had to get him a timer. I said,
Mm.
okay, because to him, he's 5. If he tells you I'm going to get ready in 5 minutes, guess what? 5 minutes becomes 30 minutes, and
Oh
he's
yeah.
running. He's
Hey.
running. He has no clue what the time. So I had to
Mhm.
get him a timer and said, okay, each task must be accompanied with a timer. And
Yeah.
so that way we develop that.
Yeah. You know what? This is just look, y'all. These are needed skills. I think I call them life skills, right? When our children can learn these life skills to carry them through to the adult life, we don't have to particularly watch on them, care on them like we do. And so we have a 14-year-old son, and he has chores and he has things that he does, and he understands what the routine is. And I think that's important for children to have a routine set up. They understand how the day is going to go. They understand what the skill sets are, so that's totally ingenious to, have you as a coach outside of the parents. Because listen, today's world is significantly different than it was years ago. I always think about when my parents were raising us. My mom was at home for most of the time. My dad was at work. And so we learned a lot of the life skills from my mom, who taught us. But then 10 years, later, like out of when we were in high school, she went back to school, and
Mm,
then she got a job. And so both my parents were working. We were latchkey kids. So we had to learn. I was the oldest. I had to learn how to do the household duties, if you will, the responsibilities of the household, and do it in a proficient manner. So, what you're doing and how you're doing is so vital to how our youth is going to be set up to achieve the success that they're looking for and that potential that you're talking to. So,
Mm.
you went from tidy me, cool, and now you're at Rescue One Youth Club. So first of all, we're going to acknowledge that we've got some women here with us tonight. So we have Kay Ron. So good evening, Kay Ron, and welcome to the show tonight. She is a regular, so I have to shout her out for consistently showing up, as well as Leslie.
Mm.
Leslie's always showing up for these live conversations. So thank you both for being here. And for anyone else who's showing up, just go ahead and put your name in there. I don't want to miss you. But Kayron says, my son may not have made it through high school without a schedule. He is highly active, but easily distracted. So absolutely life skills. Yeah. So
Yes.
so what you're doing and how you're doing it is something that, sometimes we don't pay too much attention to, but you're right. 5 minutes can turn into 30 minutes easily, right?
Right. Right.
And not having this tidy spaces, it increases your chances of being in a situation that you do not want to be in.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And
Yeah,
and, and also part of our program as well is empathy. You know,
yeah,
most of the children, most of our children, they're all about themselves. It's just me, myself, and I, what I want, how I want to achieve it, not considering who's by who's by their side, right?
yeah.
And also you find someone who is in a situation. How is your disposition towards that person? Someone needs help. Are you able to support that person? Someone is discouraged. Are you able to encourage that
Mm,
student? So I'm going to share a story. My
yeah,
son, when he was in middle school, he was in soccer league. And in school they don't have middle school, they don't have soccer sports, just I think basketball or so. And so during the recess, himself and some of his friends were you know engaging in the soccer game. And then a friend of theirs, a lady who was in his league, wanted to join to participate. And the boys were like, just shoved her aside and said, "What do you know? You're not a boy. You can be part of this." And my son stood up for her and said, "No, she's done my team and she plays very well.
yeah.
So she's gonna participate with us." I felt so impressed because the next day the mom shared that story with me, and she was so impressed that they tried to bully her daughter, but my son stood up for that. And I felt that was very encouraging. So that's why we're coaching our children on these basic life skills. They need it.
Yeah.
When you see a senior citizen out there, what is your attitude towards them? They're
Mm,
struggling to grab their groceries, they're just struggling to open the door. How do you manage that? Being at the dinner table etiquette. What's your mannerism when you're at the dinner table, the lunch, you're having lunch?
mm,
Are you
yes.
going to be on your phone, your game? No, put that phone down and let's have a good conversation, a good dinner as a family.
Yes. Man, I'm telling you, this is a conversation, y'all, that we sometimes overlook because they are our future, right? And
Right.
so the way that they can, have the confidence in what they're doing with people, because I know that sometimes I hear that children have a social anxiety because they have to engage with other people. And it's because they have not, particularly been in environments where they're having to have conversation,
Patience. Right. Right.
and it is because of the way that the world is. And so, James, thank you, James, for being here live with us tonight and tuning in from LinkedIn. And he says, agreed, especially our children with different abilities require structure and a foundation of basic life skills to survive. The efforts being addressed here are applauded. So definitely something that, we can talk about probably till the end of time.
Right.
you
Right.
know, and Dwayne, thank you so much again for being here. He is a regular participant as well. He says hello from the DMV, loving our neighbors as ourselves. Yes. So, and it is just that, right? When kids understand, okay, and James is from Central Virginia. Okay, in the DMV area too. So thank you so much for being here. When kids are engaging with older people and helping, then they can recognize the extent of the world that they live in. And when you say it's not just about you, this is not just about you. There are other people living on this planet.
It's a communal thing.
It's a
It's a,
communal.
yes, it is.
you know and so, as you have been doing this and really, coaching our children through these challenges, kind of tell us what are the top challenges that you hear besides what we talked about. Maybe there's some other nuances that are happening that you're like, oh my goodness, I didn't think about that, or it came up in a conversation and I wasn't quite sure.
Challenges with the children.
Yes.
Oh, yes, there are a lot of challenges. And one of them would be the fact that they don't have the knowledge,
Mm,
and they actually feel like they know it all. So
mm,
sometimes I'm sharing with my kids, giving them instructions on something, on an assignment or a task, and then one goes like, and then she does something, and I'm like, and then she goes like, "What do you even mean?" Or or she goes like, "I don't understand." And you as a parent, you're seeing so clearly that it's just, I call it common sense, right?
mhm,
It's obvious that a one plus one is two, right? But
mhm.
they're not seeing that. So so the challenge right there is the fact that the knowledge is not there. And so
Yeah,
that's why we're trying to, impute that knowledge, because knowledge plus understanding is success, right?
yeah, yeah,
Yes. So that's one of that's our main goal, to make sure that we impact the success, instill those life skills into the children.
yeah.
Okay. Another one is the fact that they procrastinate. You give them a task, right? They
Mhm.
procrastinate, like, you know what? I don't have to do it. No, you have to do it, because you're going to impact your environment positively. You know, I have an assignment, you have an assignment, and we come together and we place our assignments together. We have a whole bunch of a successful event here, or activity, or a task being accomplished. So
Mhm.
you come up with your abilities, I come with mine, and we put it down, put it together. So you can't procrastinate. Time waits for no one.
No one.
The time waits for no one. So get on it. So that's another challenge that we also um, experience with some of these children.
Yeah.
And mhm.
Yeah. I know this firsthand. I know all of our audience does too, because most of us have children. And rearing them in this particular time, it is a challenge, right? And I think knowledge is one of those things that's always been consistent. It's been, we know, and I remember when I was a child, I always thought my parents didn't know anything. I was like, I know it all. I been doing this for just a hot second. Like now I'm proficient, you know. And they
Uh,
would come to me and be like, "No, no, 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 no. Like let's slow down, all right, and really think about what you're doing." And the other piece to, procrastination and putting things off, because that can lead into some like a snowball effect.
right.
When you get older, you just procrastinate on a whole lot of things. You
Things
procrastinate putting applications in, you procrastinate of showing up for work and doing a task on time. I mean, it just goes on
goes on.
and on and on.
And sorry to interrupt you right there.
No, you're
Another
good.
yeah, another challenge that we also experience is social media.
Oh yeah.
Social media, they believe that the information that they get from social media is just it's what is acceptable, and it's not. Some of them are just make believe, some of them are just out there for show, some of them are just for the media attention. But this is
Yeah.
the real world. This is the real world. Where you are right now is the real world. You're not seeing these individuals. You don't know, what they're talking about. You don't. You're not there in their space. This is your own space. What can you do for yourself? What can you achieve in your own space that would help you, that would prepare you for the future? When those challenges come, how are you going to manage it? Are these people telling you, these young students or children, are they telling you how to manage those challenges? And that's why we now set up a talk show called I Matter.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I Matter is also a talk show where the kids, experience I'm sorry, the kids, we give them the platform to voice all their challenges. So
Yeah.
we say voice, giving a voice to the voiceless. So sometimes if they want to express themselves, we as parents don't give them. I'm guilty of that. Back in the days I had to learn it the hard way, because they go like, "Mom, you're not listening." I found out that if I'm not listening, then how do I actually help them where they find themselves? How do I give a solution, or how do I inspire them or to motivate them? And
Yeah.
so I had to go back, to dot my I's and cross my T's and learn again how to handle this dispensation of children.
Yeah.
You know,
You know what? It is by far, please, okay. This is by far one of the conversations that we can't have enough of, and we are getting comments like left and right here, KK, for this. So like, I'll go back to Dwayne and I'll put it up again. Dwayne says, train up a child in the way they should go. When they are old, they will not depart from it. All right. They may sway and get off track just a little bit, but as they get older, they'll remember the
yeah,
lessons that they were taught or they went through. So absolutely. Leslie
right.
says, yeah, they feel like they know it all, right? They don't have the experience we have. And it's good for them to feel confident and
Yes,
knowing that they know it all, but sometimes they have to be redirected.
redirected.
You
Hmm.
know what I mean? And you have to,
Yes,
and there has to be some way for you to get that reciprocation of energy of, you know what, great. I want to give you the feedback that you did well in this. Let's take a step back and look at some other ways or some other options, right? And that's how we can guide our children a little bit better. Now, Glenroy, who is also here, and I love, love, love this comment. So first of all, Glenroy, thank you so much for being here with us tonight live. And he says, good afternoon. It is imperative that we are examples of what we teach the generations behind us. I still get up and iron my clothes, shine my shoes, make sure that I'm on time, time conscious and polite and humane to people. I know my boys are watching me closely. I'm the example that I wish them to see and experience.
right. That's your role model. We
The
parents are
role
their role
model.
model. They emulate what they see.
Yeah. They do. And even though you don't think they are, sometimes we think our kids are not paying attention, but they are soaking in all the things that we are doing every single day.
Right.
And if we're not kind, we're not empathetic, we're not, being helpful to our neighbors, guess what? Not that they will or it's going to happen, but they may have that tendency to do like, oh, okay, I'm just not going to do that because I didn't see that happening for me and my family experience. And then James said, please share the iMatter platform link with us. He wants to know
Definitely.
where you can find that. So we'll definitely
Definitely.
put that into the comments, so that way you can see that. And then Chevy, thank you so much for being here with us tonight, Queen. We are really getting into, how we are being the example for our children and how important that is. And KK was just talking about, some of the challenges that she has, encountered with the the children that she's working with, and it's the knowledge as well as procrastination and of course social media. Okay, that's always going to be a challenge for us as parents, and we absolutely are the models for our kids. We set the modality that shapes, and that's from Kron. Absolutely. So what's the problem then? You know what I mean? I, I'm just saying, like, I'm gonna be for real, for real. I get out a lot, and I kind of see children and their element, if you will. And there, for me, has this I don't know if it's just um there's not a tendency for children to have these types of skills. So like what is what is it? The temperature is off. you
Yep.
know
Yep.
I have seen a lot of kids back talking, yelling at people in the store, using profound language, um, not being hospitable. And it's getting more and more. Like I go to the fast food restaurant and they got young children that are, as part of their customer service, and it's just there's no customer service, and these children are like 16, 17, 18-year olds, and I always wonder like what's going on in the background, what's going on.
Let me share this story with you.
Yes.
One of our talk shows that we had a couple of months ago, the our library, Air Creek Library, actually partnered with us, and that's where we had the talk show. But during summer, we had to go on break, because the schedule changed. And so the last talk show that we had, we talked about wellness and what's it called, stress,
Yes.
anxiety. And we asked the kids all around us, and we asked them, so what stresses you? And it's amazing. One student said to us that what stresses him is school. And we said,
Mm,
okay, school has it. He said his PE teacher stresses him out. I said, how does she stress you out? Are you doing something that she doesn't approve of? You being, a little distracted in class. What is it that, she's challenged with? And he said, no, that the teacher talks behind every student. Yes, she talks bad about every student, and the students
mm,
get to hear it. And
mm.
he doesn't like that. And I'm
Yeah.
like, wow, and so you can imagine that even our learning environment, we
Yeah.
also need to be careful with our learning environment. So sometimes, you know, they might not get it from home, they might get it from outside there. So that's
Yeah.
why it's imperative, very important, that we as parents make sure that our children have that foundation from the home. Like one of our listeners said, the Bible actually says it, yes, that train up a child. I confirm that. Train up a child in the way he will go, and then in the future, he will always stay with what you've taught that child.
Yeah.
It's very key. So yes, having that attitude out there, and like I said again, what also they're watching, the movies, and all that also contributes to all that attitude. And also, I believe some of them, because it's not one size fits all.
Yeah.
Each child is different. What
Yeah.
affects them is different.
Yeah.
Some said that day it's homework, and you find out that whatever it is that they're going through, they kind of lash out. You know,
Mhm.
they that they take it out on the people around them and the environment. So it's important again that we listen to these children. What are
Yeah.
this? What are they not saying to you? Why that attitude? Why that character? Where did they learn that from?
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot to be said about that. And Glenn Roy is you got several comments here. He said, I teach them that it's okay to be charitable, but to be conscious of being taken advantage of. They see me feed the homeless and we have conversations about it and why I do it. My boys are 8 and 5 years old. And having these deep conversations with them is helping to mold them into greater young men. You
That's
know,
a good one. That's
it
good.
is. It is, especially explaining the why behind what they're doing it so they
Right.
don't get it misconstrued
Right.
as to, well, we're just giving food and, items or whatever just because, there's always a why. And I think that's what children always are seeking to. They want to know the why behind things and the decisions as to how they got there. It wasn't like back when we were being brought
Yeah.
up where you
Mm-hmm.
just do as you're told. Okay.
Yeah.
Just don't say nothing. Just do as
Mm-hmm.
you're told, right? And again, it's a different way that people are trying to figure out, is this important? Should I be doing this or not?
Right.
you know? And Chevy says that's so bad when the teacher is bad mouthing,
Influence.
the
Mm-hmm.
children. And that profession in itself requires you to have more skills to deal with children. And it is so frustrating too to hear that because they're in an environment where they can positively influence and impact the children as opposed to bringing them down or making them feel like they're not worthy
Right.
of being educated. So and then Kayron says, please don't even get me started on how employers have removed customer service training from their onboarding process. I just don't know. I think
Yeah.
that's, you have to have some guidelines. There has to be some structure, and it's representing your company. How do you want your company to be represented? Because y'all know, if you don't know already, I want to repeat this again. The only place that I go to if AJ wants something to eat and it's a fast food restaurant is Chick-fil-A, period.com. Don't go to McDonald's. I'm not going to Wendy's. I'm not going to Burger King because in my experience, and this is just based on my experience alone, every time I go to the other places, I don't get the warm fuzzy. There's a lot of other energy that's happening that I don't particularly want to
Right.
deal with. But
Absolutely.
so as you have like done your I matter, you have that as a way for our youth to express themselves, um and also these life skills with these modules that you're coaching and teaching. You have the Rescue One Youth Club, and you have a particular um effort that's going on right now. So what is the project that you're working on?
Okay, that's the back to school supply drive, and
Yeah.
mhm. So that's the project we're working on. But I hear you, you keep repeating Rescue One Youth Club. So I'm going to explain and give more details to what Rescue One Youth Club is again for clarity and for those who just joined us at
Yes.
a later hour or later minute. So Rescue One Youth Club is a nonprofit, a 501c3 organization, and we mentor and coach kids with different life skills. Now, we operate from two platforms, which is the Tidy Me Co. It's an after school program, an 8-week, 8 module, twice a week, for an hour, 30 minutes. The first hour is the first 30 minutes of the first day is basically theory and practical, where we talk about what they need to do, instructions and all stuff like that. And then we actually practicalize that. One of the events that we had, we brought in makeshift room into the space. And then we had rollaway beds, we had rollaway hangers, and we had shoe rack and stuff like that, bookshelf. We had, it was in an event center, and we had kids, and then we had competition, and we gave them time and say, hey, we know that you have to get out of the school, out of the house to catch your bus, right? But you still
Mhm,
need to keep your room tidy before you leave, right? And
mhm,
so we give you a minute to fix this room. All the shoes that's all over, put them in the right place and out the door, and so that's one of the events that we had back then. And so we coach them on that. And it's an hour. an hour 30 minutes, 4 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. depends on the school hours.
Mm-hmm.
If the school closes at 3, then we'll be there at 3:30 and at 5 p.m. Okay. And so the reason why, our goal really is, for our children, like I said earlier on, to for us to instill those basic soft skills because they need the skills for the future. You prepare them for their career, right? They're going to
Yeah.
be in that workforce and they
Yes.
need those skills. Okay. So that's why we want to make sure that they have those skills. And in addition, identify, the talents that they have. So while
Mm-hmm.
we're coaching them on the various life skills, they have this peculiar talents that are on the inside them, the gifts that their creator has given unto them. So where we come in, the mentoring is we identify those skills, we mentor them, we coach them in order for them, to develop those skills
Yeah.
while we're while we're developing them personally. We call it personal development. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
in other and so, you find that each child is passionate about something. What is your child passionate about? What do they want to, it's not what I as mom wants them to become in the future. It's not the career path that I wish for them, but it's what they're gifting. So if your child wants to be a makeup artist, why don't you, spend time, find someone to mentor your child in that area. And, if your child is good with his fingers and loves, putting cables together, that means he will likely be an engineer, right? I have that
Mm-hmm.
in my home. If he
Yeah.
likes to fix things, like my son likes to, stuff goes bad, he likes to fix them. I'm like, I need to enroll him. But the thing here is, I'm going to digress a little bit, is when my son, when we had a little bit of financial setback and I had to pull my kids out from the different programs that we're in. Okay. And I looked at myself, I said, if I in the middle class could actually go through this setback and pull my kids out from the music class, pull them from Kumon, pull them away from the sports activities because we have to pay for this extracurricular activities and they seem to be expensive. What more someone else who is not even a middle class, who's from a low com family. So that means what happens to that child? What happens to the talents that they have? Who's going to harness those talents for them? Who's going to bring them out of
Mm-hmm.
them and support them all through? And so I said, you know what? It's really time for Rescue One Youth Club to start up. Okay. So,
I'm shaking my head. I'm like, yes, from when you were talking about, because you went into basic training, and that's what we had in basic training. It was all this. Okay, you have to make your bed. You have to get your clothes prepared for the next day. You have to
right,
align your shoes. These are basic life skills that now, as I am an older, person, I make my bed up before I even get away from my room. That's the first thing that is happening before I do all the other things because it gives you not only the sense of accomplishment, but it
right,
makes sure that things are squared away before you go out and do anything. And then when you're talking about, how the it's it's what they want to do. It's how they want to engage. There are so many parents that I know that are just want to push their kids straight into college, right? And then they get into college and it's not what they really want to do. It's what the parents want the child to do. And when they're losing out on those passions and those interests, not to say they don't need to go college or anything like that, but what can they do to develop those passions, those interests that you've seen them for years wanting to do? There are trade schools, right? There are business schools. There are all these other different options now that we can allow our child to experience. And so we have several comments again. First of all, Glenroy. Woo, we have so many teachers that are in teaching as a career for the most part, instead of understanding that, in fact, it is a calling.
Colin,
The fact that the young man was disturbed by the teachers talking bad about students is evidence that his moral compass has been calibrated by his parents correctly and exactly. All right, because he
absolutely.
recognized it and he's like, this is not good. So,
Yeah.
yes. And then Ike. So hi, Ike. Thank you so much for tuning in with us. And you're tuning in from YouTube. He says most young people are influenced by pop culture, especially when parents are not fully involved and engaged. Yes, true. Okay. And then Glenroy said personal development is different for every child based on the gifts and talents that they have been blessed with. They will do better when we as parents pay attention and cultivate their gifts and talents and be happier in turn. Oh, and so Kron says, I do too, Slay. My kids as well as that is what they were taught. I just know that sometimes, parenthood is so hard.
It
When I,
is.
when I had her son,
I concord.
nobody. I mean, my parents, they kind of told me a little bit, but when you're in it and you're really trying to, develop this person into someone who's a productive citizen and who is going to find success, it's so challenging because this is a day in, day off. I have not had any moments as a parent where I just decided I'm just gonna chill and lay back in the cut. It's always a constant like, let me teach you a skill. I'm teaching my son right now how to cook. Okay.
Yes. Yep. Yep.
But I can't be cooking all the time for
All
him
the
because
time. Mhm.
I want him to develop the skills and not having to be scared to do it when it is for real time for him to really take care of himself. So, and I don't want anyone else taking care of him. And you know what I mean. So
I
I'm
know.
just saying,
Sure didn't know that.
yeah, it's like, nah, like I want you to make sure that you are being independent and you can do things on your own. So what you're
Mm.
doing and how you're doing it is absolutely needed. And you're now in the back to school phase, if you will.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
What I want to do is show everybody just a quick video, y'all, of what she is standing up. So I'm just gonna I'm gonna present a slide presentation. Hold on for 1 second. Let me pull this up, y'all. But I just want you to know what she is doing and how she's impacting and influencing so many people here in the D.
Hey everyone, we are at Bridgeway Community Church today, and we are Rescue One Youth Club, and we're doing the back to school supply drive that supplies kids in Baltimore City with school supplies that are in need for the beginning of the school year about to start up this month. So we are a coaching and mentoring program for ages 6 through 17. We provide kids with coaching about financial literacy, how to save their money as they're growing older. We can provide kids with emotional support so they're able to talk about their emotions with us. We provide kids with how to keep a tidy and clean environment around themselves. Come see us.
You can contact us at 4434721596 if you have any questions.
Bye.
Listen. You got the kids in there. I'm like, yes. They're part of it. You know what I mean? They are
Yes.
part of the movement. And they want
Yes.
to, they are seeking this. They want to be mentored. They want to know what the guidance looks like. And now they're speaking to it and allowing others to be a part of. So I'm like, yes. And the way and it already seems to me that they took that on as their own project.
Yes, yes. I get them. So I work most of my projects and I work with the youth. I prefer to work with them because you're instilling all those, potentials in them. You are. So I prefer to work with them so they grow up knowing that this is, what they're supposed to do as, as an employee out there or a business owner. And so back to school, the video that we all watch right now is the initiative for Baltimore City public school systems. We are partners in education with the Baltimore City public school. And so they have a portal where some of the schools put in requests for items or resources or tools that they need. And so we all know that in a couple of weeks schools will be going back, and so most of them are literally requesting for school items and backpacks, books, because they said in the beginning of the year the students just walk into school without any of those materials, and so the teachers are kind of handicapped, at how to support them, with all those resources, because the school can provide all that. And so we decided, so we're going to take this initiative and advocate on your behalf. And so we're advocates for those underserved schools and underserved students in order, to get the resources from those who have the resources and pass that on to those who need the resources. And these are the schools. And that's why we have the back to school supply drive donations. We have a flyer, which I believe Rochelle is going to share much later. And
Yes.
we set up a Walmart registry where people can go in and purchase items. If you don't want to pay for the delivery, you can actually put in the information for pickup, and I can pick that up from the exact location that it's on the website. And we have a website as well. If you want to donate as well, you can go to our website. If you have technical difficulties with the donation part, we have a Zelle with associated with the business, which you can Zelle those funds to us. Now, a particular school is having their back to school drive on Tuesday. And so they literally called me, sent me emails, sent me text, and says, "Hey, KK, we need water." And I'm like,
Water.
water? Yeah. And I'm like, why do you need water? Right. And so she said, they have lead in the school. They
Uh,
found lead in the school, so they can't drink the water. They can't use, so the water is all shut up, and they don't know when this will be taken care of. And so they're like, can you just get us gallons of water on Tuesday when you're coming? Those gallons that they put on the dispenser, the water dispensers. That's what they requesting for, and also requesting for printing paper that they use them all year round. So at the end of the day, you find out that the teachers themselves are literally digging into their pockets to support
mhm.
whatever the school needs. And I don't think that's the kind of environment we want our children, even if it's not your child. The next door neighbor, is their children, right? But our children will definitely come in contact with these children someday.
Yeah.
What will be the disposition?
Yeah.
How would the child, how is the child going to act, out amongst other students who their schools have been served? And so you find out that some of these students coming with low self-esteem, they
Mhm.
feel left out. In fact, one of the schools, another school had said to me that, KK, most of these students, they're good students, but they feel so left out because the school system is not paying attention to the school.
Mhm. It's
So
true.
So that's why we're having this back to school drive, and please support this initiative. It's for the students. We want to create that environment that learning environment that they can thrive on and
Yeah.
be, accomplished, because we want the students off the street. We want them to accomplish their goals or whatever it is that they desire to accomplish, right? How how do we, what tools are we giving them? What resources are we handing over to them
Yeah.
to support them for
Yeah.
successful education? And
Yeah.
also to save the teachers from the stress,
Yeah.
because they're also stressed out. They don't have when you don't have those tools and those resources, they can't strategize on, that how to implement all those instructions for the students. So it's literally frustrating for every one of them, both
Yeah.
teachers and both students. So that's why we're advocating that you support us for this initiative.
Yeah.
And we have another back to school drive in another school on the 24th.
Well, I think what you're doing is absolutely incredible.
Thank you.
And I've got someone here saying our company would like to donate 12 gallons of water to your program.
Oh, thank you.
So,
Yes.
Kiki, like, give me your, or KK, give me your. I want to say Kiki all the time, but it's KK.
KK. KK. Double K.
Maybe because it's Kiki Palmer. I watched that so many times. So, what is your link so he can donate?
Okay, it's www.r R, which is Robert, the number one,
Uh-huh.
YC dot
YC
com dot
dot com.
com. Yes, R1YC.com.
Is this
Or mhm,
it's it's gonna pull up here. So is this it?
yes, that's it. Yes,
Okay,
yes.
y'all. So if you are tuning in, this is one way that you can contribute, and this is for Baltimore, okay,
City schools.
city schools that are in need. You can go to the website. You can kind of look around and see, how to do that. And if not, then how else can they contact you?
They can send me an email,
At
info
yep,
at r1yc.com,
ry1c.com.
or they can Zelle to rescue
Okay, let me
food.
put this up
Mhm,
here first of all. So,
mhm.
James, so there's the actual email address for KK. And then you can also either go there or go to the website there that it's available. Okay, and then what's the next one?
Okay, the next one is if they're finding it difficult or they have technical difficulties with the donate section on website, they can actually Zelle
Okay.
www. I'm sorry, darling. Res- rescue rescue one youth
Okay.
at gmail.com.
At gmail.com. All right, y'all. So we're putting all the information here for you to donate as you like to this important and just ever needed cause. And even if you're not in the DMV area and wherever you're at, I know these schools, wherever you're at, is always looking for school supplies. And, one of the things that we have started to do, like when AJ was like in sixth, seventh grade, is starting to put extra supplies in his book bag. And, having him to hand a pencil or a pen or a piece of paper or something to a student that may have forgotten or may not have, we are encouraging him as an individual to be the leader. All right. So this is where this leadership conversation, because y'all, that's one of the things that I always talk about is, developing our children to be leaders. Yes, we will have to have them be followers at times, but so much now we have to show our children how to be great leaders and to help others that may need, something that they haven't had, and so I'm going back to some comments here, KK, before we close up for tonight. And this one is Glenroy says, parenthood is an education. You're literally learning on the fly in every
Right,
situation. Absolutely. Yeah, no one really told us, but that's what we're doing. And Chevy says, yes, I did it for my daughter. I'm doing it for my son. And that's her teaching them the life skills that they need and preparing them for taking care of themselves.
right.
So that way, they're not left without knowing how to do that. Because I think that too is something that we're finding more and more nowadays. So, wow, this has been, go ahead, KK.
Sorry to interrupt you.
No.
We also have a registry with Walmart, like I said, and
Oh,
yes, I can send you that. Actually, send that email to you. It's on the flyer. The
okay.
registry is on the flyer, so if they're not in the DMV area,
Yeah.
like I said, they can actually go there and purchase those items, and I can pick them up and
Okay.
distribute them. Yes.
That's awesome. Listen,
Mhm.
y'all, she's like got a baby registry, shower registry. If you register at Walmart for things, she's got one that's set up there. So if there's anything or any items in the registry that you want to purchase, KK will go there and she will pick them up. So, we touch on leadership a little bit. We touched on wellness, where our children, the state of where our children are at nowadays, and the mindset, the mindfulness that you as in your organization are teaching and helping with. And this is a nonprofit. We had a nonprofit organization come last week, and so this week it seems like it's nonprofit organization month, if you will. And I absolutely love it because these are the missions that we know that our community is in need of. There's a gap, right? There's a gap, and you're filling that gap. And so your efforts are so commendable. I absolutely love what you're doing.
Thank
Stay
you.
encouraged, my queen, okay?
Thank
Because I
you.
know that the fight, there's a lot, to be said about what you're doing.
It's a battle every day. A battlefield. It's called battlefield of the mind.
It's like there's so much. You're leaving a legacy, right?
Thank
And
you.
and understanding that importance of it. So the last question before we kind of close it up for tonight that I would love for you to expound on, and I ask every guest, is when at your 80th birthday party, because we all are praying, sometimes wanting to know if we were ever going to get to that point.
Mhm.
What do you want your family and your friends to say about you?
Good question. Good question. Honestly speaking, all I want to hear is she made a difference
Mhm.
in the lives of our young generation, in the lives of people. She saw a need here and she met that need. That's what I want. That's what I want people to say about me. I love change. I love when someone is going through that transition. I love to help them navigate through those challenges. That's what I would love everyone to say about me. That I encourage every child on the street. I encourage every child on the street to achieve purpose and become who they're meant to be, who God has asked them or shown them that they need to be. Yes.
Yeah, that's beautiful. You already doing it. You're already doing it. So, this has been a really great conversation, and I thank you
Thank
for
you.
being here and taking the time out. And for all my guests that came here live tonight, I want to give you a special shout out as well. K. Ron, Leslie, James, Dwayne, Chevy, Glenroy, Ike, thank you so much for taking the time out and doing and just being here, just being present here on this conversation. And Kron, and Leslie said stay encouraged and thank you for all that you do with the youth. Kron
Thank
is
you.
saying I so appreciate what you're doing. Glenroy says keep doing the work that God has placed in you. And Chevy says great mission.
Thank
All
you.
right. So,
Thank you.
make sure y'all follow her and got the information. Again, thank you so much for being with us tonight, KK. And for everyone there, and if you come back for the replay, just put in hashtag replay. We will see you all next week. All right. It's going to be a special day because guess what Sunday is? All right. Leo season is in the house and it is my birthday. Okay. So my
Ooh,
birthday is on
happy.
Sunday, August 18th. I will be back here with you all just to, say how the day has gone and so forth. And I'll get a special guest with us. And Ike said, keep the dream alive. Purpose is all that matters. I
Thank
love
you.
that. I love
Thank
that.
you.
All
Yes.
right, y'all. So keep on slaying until you can't slay no more. And we will see you all next week. Love you and bye bye. Have a great week.
Thank you. Thank you for
You're welcome.
having me.
Absolutely. Thank you for being here.